Hey, my name is Marco. I'm a pro opera singer turned voice actor. I love talking about and analyzing video game music from an emotional perspective, and I'm a big fan of FromSoft and Elden Ring music. Let's check out the Twin Moon Knight from Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree. I have no idea who the Twin Moon Knight is, what the reference is. This is by Tai Tomisawa. Let's listen. Is there a harpsichord in there? Man, front and center viola. Celeste. Chunk, chunk, chunk. So I really like how this piece started because to me, there's a certain elegance in it. There's a certain sense of regality, of nobility, of being sworn to a duty that you must face and ascertain on your own, like defending. I don't know. When I hear the Twin Moon, I think of Renala. Could this be Rilana's theme? I have no idea why there's two are named so similarly. I'm assuming it's not. I'm assuming it's random, but there's a real elegance in this music, and I think part of it is because it feels like obviously we have this must be a female because we have a very female dominant choir. Oh, and that tonal movement to me gives an essence of I've been sworn to a responsibility and I can't back down. This is not an ideal situation for me. This is not something I want. And yet I have no choice because I've made a promise to something or someone and I must follow through. And I don't think there's necessarily a resistance to fighting, but I do think that the music indicates that there's like a no choice sort of scenario. Now we get the common rhythmic thing that occurs. I've listened to Divine Beast Dancing in Lion as well. That has the exact same sort of like intensity in the strings, little real sharp up and down bowing. So I think to me like this is an essence of elegance under fire, like having to turn and do something because it's a responsibility and a duty. There's some really interesting things musically that occur in the first 2 minutes. There's a lot of alternating between cello, viola, and sort of almost gives the essence of being a string quartet. And it really does feel like Vivaldi / Bach, but in a new sort of, it's in the style of that, but it's a much more intense version of it. There's a couple little interesting things. I want to just go back a minute or so and take a listen. So even that, that really does feel like we have to fight. I'm fighting you. There's no other choice. Here we go, right? Especially because it's in the lower strings. And so it gives an essence, even in that soundscape, of feeling like, I don't have a choice, man. Like this is what I got to do, right? There's like, that sounds like a harpsichord. Yeah, it is. So this is a really interesting musical gesture because it goes bum bum. So in between that we have this long fluid playing, but in between we have this sharp, and that's the like sort of push and pull of like, I don't want to do this. I'm sworn to my responsibilities, but also like I am a noble person who like I have to do what I'm told. That's the sort of, I could be totally off, but that's just how it feels. Do you hear the difference there between the legato of the versus the, that's a really fun contrast. And then it pulls back and we're left with this sort of like twinkling of the moon sound. That's actually really surprising because, you know, so often I expect these boss teams to be really sort of intense, and I'm actually looking for things that deviate from the standard sort of style that FromSoft really like leans in. And Elden Ring, I think the biggest complaint I have about Elden Ring is that sometimes some of the bosses can sound sort of similar in terms of their rhythmic intensity and how they're sort of like, oh, the phase 2 is always more intense than phase 1. But this so far has been interesting because we've actually, at least in this, I don't know if there's 2 phases, but in this particular section, we've had a lot of different movement, a lot of different tempo, a lot of different rhythm, and a lot of different like instruments stacked on top of each other. There's like been phases within this first phase, if it is a first phase. So this little corner here, very different from what we just listened to, which is really neat to me. But it does give me the essence of, especially because you get the twinkling in the whether it's a mallet instrument or a celeste, I'm not entirely sure, but that's also really cool to me. Do you hear it's like really just kind of long bowing? And there's a little bit of counterpoint. There's a double harmony mixed melody in there, where it sounds like the viola and the cello are duetting in tandem. This is really interesting. But they also sound like they're doing their own musical ideas at the same time, but somehow they fit, which I think that's really interesting. Yeah, it's such an interesting, like almost like the separating of water. You know, the Sopranos almost give me a sense that there's an elegance that's going on. Oh, because underneath we have the brutality of like a knight, a ferocious being, right? But over top we have and that's like a femininity. It's cool. Okay, I'm assuming this is. It almost feels like an ending. It actually resolves, it ends. Lots of movement. Now there's brass in this now. That's subdued. Twinkling. Major. They're moving almost in unison. like to here at the very end we get this like it's almost like because in the first phase we get a real proper ending. The second phase feels much more like bloodied and like, how could you possibly think that I would let you get by the, and so like at the end it's almost like like a desperate sense of like, please, I will say it's a little repetitive near the last 2 minutes, which sort of took me out of it a little bit, because it's sort of like that certainly was not my favorite piece that I've listened to from Elden Ring. But I like the grace in it emotionally. The grace in it is really cool, because I really do feel like this is like, listen, I gotta do this, right? And so there's a sense of really being bound by responsibility, but with grace, and like with a, not like a bad character versus a good character, but like in like a I can't let you, which I really liked, and I do like the intensity. I also appreciate how it wasn't like a full shift in the phase 2. The brass was the thing that really picked up. We heard a lot of the stuff that we heard in phase 1, just with a little bit more intensity, was a little bit dialed up as always, but the brass actually was really leading that. And also, we also had a real emphasis on the bass string instruments that were really, the bass itself was really leading the charge there. So it really felt like it was like the character had to like dig into the soul of into their belly to be like, I can't let you get away with this. You know what I mean? I really liked that. So that was quite nice. I mean, yeah, if you like this sort of stuff, there's lots more Elden Ring on the channel, and certainly lots more Shadow of the Erdtree to come. As always, thanks a ton, and I'll see you later. Bye.